and this goes with the other question, right? With the evolution of humanity, right? How and I love to talk about the human element. Now that's wide, right? But but that's our experience, right? In so many different settings and what the human being lives and goes through. And I've been given unique windows into humanity through being in ministry for so many years. So I consider that a great gift. And I want, by being on podcasts, I look to bring two things. One is my personal experiences and things I've learned in my own life and my personal stories. Some of the podcasts are about that, and others is just my knowledge of the human person and the human experience and to enlighten that. So with that is the human element. I think society and with the workforce and everything, we're going from what they might call the one side of the brain to the other. From the side of the brain that has just a lot of knowledge and skills and because that was the way the world worked for many years and it worked. But now with AI and with computers and with machines, there's now the workforce is almost like it's looking for people that are much more creative, innovative. That's why there's a big focus on emotional intelligence. And in this regard, there's a huge focus on us developing a lot of our aspects of our humanity that
Yes.
in some ways were underdeveloped. Um, so that doesn't
I
come up.
love that. But I
'Cause
love I love what you said there because that's a particular issue of mine because I would hear people say things like, "Oh, hey, look, it's business, it's not personal." And I think, wait a minute, I'm a human being here. How is it not personal? How do we lose the human element? We're not just digits. We're not just binary states. We are evolving artistic human beings that must be taken into account. And that's what I love about what's happening now is that people are
yes,
bringing into account the human element into each and every interaction.
indeed, that's exactly what's happening. But like with all novelty, there's a lot of resistance. It's difficult to change. Is hard. But and with well, what institutions have to be or be starting to realize is we have to do a lot more than just produce products, right?
Yes.
Or sell services. There's a demand that we take care of our people, and it's a big shift in the workforce because it means having leaders who have that ability,
Yes.
and having teams that have that ability, and having an HR department that has that ability, and it means investing funds, right? There's a lot of investment of energy, time, people, training, education, funds, and business leaders can have a hard time with that because obviously it takes away from maybe some of the profits that might be helpful in other ways.
In the short term, but I don't believe that it takes away in the long term. In the
No.
long term, we will end up having much greater abundance when we make this investment in the first. And that's the thing about when we talk to business leaders. Business leaders understand you have to put money into infrastructure and you're not going to get your money back the very first few years that you invest the money into infrastructure or you put into something into research and development. You're not doing that. But we're putting research and development into the human capital, the
Hmm.
human capital that we can. And that's one of the things I love about you coming from ministry into business. Well, not that ministry isn't a business. I mean, it's a business also, but still from your experience of where you come from, Matthew, you have the opportunity to be able to see these elements, these nurturing, supportive elements that were in your ministry as you're going, you're seeing how they're applying. This is my words, you tell me if I'm correct. You're seeing how these are desperately needed and apply within the business environments in deeply practical ways.
Hmm. Yes, but applying them in practical ways, I think it'd be difficult for a lot of people in leadership roles because people in leadership roles are usually often end up in those roles because they're good at what they do in their sector. Oftentimes, I'm generalizing, but they might not be. They need to develop other aspects of skill sets for in order to lead and to be able to really look at their people in a deeper way rather than just in then the sector. But with this, I would say that what are the benefits? The benefits is our people will work better. Our people, what we call positive organizational behavior, well-being. When our people are doing well, they're gonna work better. The environment will be better. People will be more productive, and then, like you said, in the long run, and even in the short run, as regards a year or two, there's a lot of things that will improve, and then turnover will be much less because it's so interesting nowadays. There's the loyalty to a business, to a company, which was a big deal decades ago. The new generation, they have no loyalty. They have loyalty to themselves. And if their organization helps them to grow and to be better, then they will continue to work there. If it doesn't, then they're going to go somewhere else.
Right. But and while they don't have the same loyalty, but the loyalty that was in the past was just a blind loyalty. You were there, you started at this particular level, you stayed with the entire company, and then you retired with them. Well, when that agreement was broken, now we have to find out what is a new loyalty. And the loyalty has to be is, do I truly care about and value you as a human being, as an individual, as a member? Do I value what your contributions are? Do I value what you bring to the table? Because if I do that, I'm going to have an employee for life, even if whatever work happens or however work happens, it works in pieces. Like 60% of my time is devoted to this organization and 20%. I mean, the world of work, or how we're going to be able to parse this out, it's going to be very different in these next coming decades than we're seeing it now, don't you think?
I think so, yes. But I don't see it as overly complex. It's actually, when we talk about it, it's actually quite simple. And which is just showing up as better human beings, taking care of our people. Our people want to be seen. They want
Yes.
to be valued. Right. And I promise that most people will stay with a company where they sense that they are seen and valued and appreciated, rather than go to a company where they won't get that, even if they get a higher salary. There's something about that people really value. People want that. And really, in the end, that's what we want as human beings, whether it be your spouse, whether it be your children, whether it be your friends. This is something that we yearn for as human beings. So it's simple, but a lot of people in the workforce are like, well, that's not our job. Our job, but it will do serve you well as a leader to be able to do this, because it will bring many benefits for you as a person, for your people, and for your company and business.